Hello, and welcome to the Outlier Podcast, the podcast for everyone who is interested in building better homes. My name is Anthony, and I am the founder and lead designer of Outlier, and I'm passionate about creating beautiful and high-performing homes. I sit down regularly to chat with industry experts to help educate Australians about the potential of creating healthy, comfortable, and energy-efficient homes. Whether you are looking to build your forever home, renovate your existing house, or simply eager to learn more, tune in every month wherever you get your podcasts. We hope you join us on this journey. This is episode 18, and in this two-part episode, we chat with Brian from iSmart Building Group and Simon from Melbourne Sustainable Homes, two of the 7 directors of Sustainable Builders Alliance. We discuss the ins and outs of SBA, zero carbon homes, and the educational content they provide and look to substantially grow into the future. We also touch on personal growth and the positive impacts SBA has had for both our guests. It's a must listen for those looking for a reliable educational source on building better that will continue to provide an evolving wealth of knowledge. Welcome, Simon and Brian. It's great to have you both. Really appreciate you taking the time to have a chat with us today and just talk more about what you've both been up to, particularly with sustainability, or Sustainable Builders Alliance, I should say. So to start off with, can I get you to briefly just tell our listeners who you both are and what is Sustainable Builders Alliance? What's it all about?
I'll go first then, Brian.
Yeah, knock yourself out, big fella.
You always get in early. But yeah, so my name's Simon Clark. I'm one of the two of us, obviously the host of the Sustainable Builders Yak, and I'm also Director of Sustainable Homes Melbourne and Chair of the Sustainable Builders Alliance, which formerly Builds Declare Australia. I've been in the construction industry just over 2 decades, and really I suppose got onto the sustainability in construction probably or over a decade ago. And I suppose the intention that I suppose to your question, asking about the intention and what people can get from the Sustainable Builders Alliance, I think it's clear to see from the inception of Builds Declare, which was really, a petition-based sort of thing. It's just come in, sign up, and hope for the best. Obviously, from there, we put out webinars and created the podcasts, and found it sort of difficult to go, okay, what's next? And so that's where the Sustainable Builders Alliance has sort of started, and the community is amazing. The sponsors that we've got behind it and the builders that are a part of it, I know that are at the top of their game. And then our push for education, and we want to drive policy as much as we can, and there's loads of opportunity.
Yeah, I'm glad you touched on policy as well. Is that one of those ultimate outcomes towards, everyone's got so much passion, that's undeniable. I see this time and time again with your collective and group, and that's the driving force there. And, policy is one of those things that you're trying to influence or have advocate for better improvements in industry, is it?
Yeah, for sure. I know if Brian had his way with the NCC, there'd be some big changes.
Well,
but look, there's certainly some really, there's some intelligent people amongst us, like Brian and Jeremy Spencer, that can really push the agenda and know exactly what they're talking about, and what really Australia needs to improve to these world standards of energy efficient and sustainable construction.
Yeah, thank you.
My turn.
It's my turn.
All right. Brian Guinan from iSmart Building Group in Perth, Western Australia. I am a carpenter by trade, a father by profession, and I do a lot of other things as well. Most people that are listening to this, I think we share the same listenership kind of. We get a lot of questions about your podcast as well. So in brief, I guess I joined when it was Builders Declare at the very start. The guys did their first webinar, and I responded to that webinar. Essentially, just wanted to make a difference. From being from Europe, I'm Irish, And being from Europe, the standard of construction and efficiency was so far ahead of what we're dealing with in Western Australia. I just thought, we have to make a difference. If we're going to, if our kids are going to have any kind of a world to live in, and our grandkids, we need to stand up and make a difference. It's as simple as that. It's not just the two of us, though. We have Michael Lim from Michael Lim Builders. We have Jeremy Spencer from Positive Footprints, Hamish White from Sanctum Homes, Michael Murphy from Align Building, and last but not least is Jesse Glasscott from Glux Builders. So there's actually 7 of us. So many hands make light work, I guess. But yeah, I guess we're all aligned. And when we were looking for a new name, Sustainable Builders Alliance, it just worked. It just really worked with what we were trying to do. We'll talk a little bit more later on about why we moved from Declare across to SBA, but we knew that we needed to do something essentially. But yeah, that's a little bit of a brief history.
Yeah, no, and I mean, there's a 7 of you taking that leadership role for certain. However, you do have a substantial community around you that's forever growing. So I hope that, as listeners are tuning in now, that they're also going straight over to SBA's website and joining and becoming a part of that. And we'll touch more on that as well as we move forward. So sustainability, it is in the name. I'd like to ask you both, what does that mean to you each individually? What is sustainable building to you both?
I'll take the lead this time, I guess, because you went first the last time, Simon. So for me personally, it's about the future. Sustainability is the phrase that everyone, we could say this in 100 different ways, but when it comes to our future, it needs to be sustainable. We need to have a world for our future generations. If we continue to work as we work, or if we continue to live as we live, it's a throwaway society, and that's not sustainable. We all know that. Like, global warming is a reality, and we need to change, and we need to change very, very quickly. For me personally, sustainability it's a holistic approach. It's not just putting your recyclables in the recycle bin. There's a lot more to it than that.
Yeah.
There's a lot more that we have to own up to, and I think, personally, admitting, that we're irresponsible with what we do, I think that's the first step. If we admit it, then we can accept change and we can move forward. I think that's one of the biggest things we need to do. And as an industry, we're getting there. We're slow. It's a big boat to try and turn, but I think we are definitely getting there. One of the first things, like, we all know, it's once it becomes fashionable, it becomes achievable. And that's where we're at right now as an industry. It is becoming fashionable. It is becoming something that everybody needs and wants in the industry, which is a fantastic thing. So for me personally, it's the holistic approach.
Yeah, and how would you respond to someone to sort of say, hey, how can I be more accountable for these things? Is there something that has that you think about in this approach? Like, do you think maybe before you purchase something, maybe what that end goal is? Do you have any values in your day-to-day life or your approach to building or designing that you think about?
Think before you act.
Yeah,
I think that's the easiest message we can put out there to the world as a whole, is think before you act.
Yep.
And it's that simple. And I've started doing it in the last 10 years. Every single thing I do, there's a consequence to everything we do. It takes a split seconds to think and change your decision. That's all it is. It's not rocket science. It's just common sense, in my opinion. So think before you act. So it's a lot of this is not education or anything. It's just a thought process. That's all it is.
Yeah, great. Well, Simon, do you want to maybe just touch on what sustainability means to yourself and personally?
Yeah. Firstly, I'm very motivated as an individual, but I find it hard to humans the path of least resistance is the typical path that's taken, unless it's, I don't know, us here sitting here would be devotees to it. It's almost a replacement of, I'd hate to use the word religion, I see it as, but it's just a way of, it's a mindset, the thought process that this is what you do. Like, just over the weekend, I was cleaning out the house a bit, and we've got all this soft plastic laying around. It kills me that I need to even have it laying around because I can't recycle it.
Yeah.
It looks like I've found somewhere that can recycle it, but you've got to. Anyway, it's just there's things you got to do. You've got to call them up or email them, and then you got to pay $10 and they come and pick it up. I mean, it's not that hard, but humans are busy, humans are stressed, and in times of challenge in climate challenges and economic challenges, it's not going to be the easiest things for people. So I believe, as much as builders Sustainable Builders Alliance is really a bottom-up approach.
Yep.
It's not going to get mass adoption unless it is coming from the top, particularly as well. But just to answer your question in brief, sustainable building is using low carbon materials for energy efficient homes. Is as simple as I can make it.
Yeah, I mean, more so for yourself, it's your business name, right? It's Sustainable Homes Melbourne. So you've
Yep.
made a conscious decision to put sustainable in your business name. So it must have meant a lot to you, and you've just touched on what it is to you. So that's amazing. And I suppose I just quickly mentioned, you talked about soft plastics. We're very fortunate where we are located, as we have a local skip bin supplier who made a decision a couple of years ago to spend the extra money and build this complex where he could sort the materials that come in. And he's usually averaging around 90% waste from construction sites being recycled. And his soft plastics, he's found a provider that takes that and turns it into a material that gets used in asphalt paving. If anyone in the Bendigo regions or thereafter, there is a supply here. If you want to touch base, we can help you out there. And I hope there's others elsewhere doing this as well. So Melbourne-based or Perth or wherever else in the country as well. So might help sometimes just to reach out to a few other people doing this and are passionate about it and see if there's any connections that can be made.
Yeah, I'd love to know who that supplier is. I'm not too far from you. I'm in Macedon Ranges anyway, but
Oh, there you go. I wasn't aware of that.
Yeah,
We'll touch more on that a bit later as well.
I'm pretty sure that McCormick's Australia are recycling soft plastics as well in several products. I think Saveboard is one of them. Saveboard has a mixture of soft plastics and paper, I'm pretty sure. Don't quote me on that, but
look it up, everyone.
Hamish did a webinar last week. Maybe go back and have a listen to that. Go to dsba.com.au. Have a look at those webinars there.
Check it out.
Yeah. But just to be clear, I am talking about sort of the individual, having to jump these hurdles to do the right thing.
I'll pass on. I'll get the details from Rob at Tiger Bins and pass on whose direct contact is in Melbourne that's doing this as well. Because it's great to share all that knowledge. And I guess we've just exemplified exactly what we're doing here. So all right. The question that a few people have actually asked me is, why the change? Why did you change from Builders Declare to Sustainable Builders Alliance?
Yes, we've had that many times as well, and this was
probably on the FAQs.
As Brian can attest, there was many arm wrestle over this one.
Yeah, it's a topic of conversation in many meetings.
Yes. So obviously, a lot of people, I assume, would know Builders Declare emerged from the Construction Declares movement, which started in the UK. It was 2020. It was 2019. Sort of timed it well with the fall. But with the fires that we had in Eastern Australia at the time. And then Architects Declare quickly started, great community of architects in Australia quickly adopted it. And then I was contacted by one of those architects. And then, Builders Declare started, the bunch of builders quickly jump on that. And that's who we all have here now, as Brian mentioned, the 7 directors of us. And then we realized quickly that it's all right, what now? So you can sign up for your best intention, but then there's no guidance, there's no validation, there's nothing thereafter. There's no actionable or tangible sort of outcome based around it. So, and that's what we wanted. That was, it's pretty clear that to get anything to happen, you need to have clear action. So that's why we moved over to Sustainable Builders Alliance, and with the intention to provide that and facilitate action, put it that way.
No, that's great. And further to that, I suppose, is now what can people gain from coming over and becoming part of the Alliance? If they sign up, what is it that you're looking to, why should they jump on board? What are the things that you guys, I suppose, let's hear the best sales pitch here and, come across and for those who maybe are sitting on the fence or just need a nudge.
I would say, I'll take this one, Simon. I would say, look, the easiest way to describe this is assistance and knowledge. That's probably the easiest way to describe what we do at the moment. Now, we have really, really good ideas and trajectories where we're going to go with this, but it starts with assistance and knowledge. If you're looking for, information for risk-free improvement, that's kind of where we're at. So you've got the industry giving us information plus our own experience all on one platform. And at the moment, it's completely focused around, reducing our carbon footprint, hitting 7 stars, with as much ease as possible. And then after that, it's increasing the knowledge and the industry, and pushing as much information out as we can there, but pushing the right information out so that people have the tools to increase their performance and lower their carbon footprint. So essentially, everything's based around the website at the moment. That will change, but at the moment, you're looking at a website which has so much consultation material in there, and it's all free. It's incredible. So if you want first step knowledge, there's first step knowledge there. If you want more in-depth knowledge, there's that too. If you want, high-end consultation, then there's access to I don't know how many professionals on the website. So when you look at content for assistance and knowledge, it's all there. That's kind of where we're at the moment, is to get that knowledge out to the industry. We want to get as much knowledge as we can to the industry professionals, the builders, architects, designers, engineers, anyone that's out there, even the homeowner builders, whoever's out there that needs this knowledge. That's where we're at the moment. It's knowledge sharing is where we're at.
Yeah, and maybe just to close off on the homeowners as well, there's people who are potentially looking to build. They have this idea in mind. Maybe they don't have the knowledge within their team that they've got together at that point. This is definitely a resource that they can come to as well, right? And use throughout their journey, and learn and maybe educate those in their team, such as the designers, or maybe they've got a builder as well who may not be aware of this as well. So that's something they can definitely do.
Yeah, absolutely. One of the things when we were looking at this at the very start, and I'll have to give kudos to Jeremy Spencer for this one. We looked at everyone that's out there, and there's a couple of really heavy hitters in the industry. We all know who they are when it comes to podcasts, and a lot of them are running courses and stuff at the moment. But there's nowhere that had, a platform where all the information was there and accessible. You know what I mean? Be it in webinars, be it in an actual website, or be it in podcasts, or whatever it was. And we thought, you know what, this is what we need. We need one platform that has everything.
Yeah.
We've got the webinars, we've got the podcasts, we've got, the roadmap to zero carbon, which is extensive. It's incredible. So the volume of information and the volume of knowledge that's attached to all of this is what we were targeting. This is what we want to deliver, and this was one of the deliverables when we sat down. I don't know how many times we've done this, Simon. So many times that we looked at what we want to, like, what are we doing? What do we want to achieve? This is the first step of what we want to achieve.
Yeah, that's like amazing. Although you have highlighted another question that I do have. You've mentioned a few times that the amount of time, things that you're doing behind the scenes, the time you're putting into this. Do you mind giving a little bit of insight into how this occurs? Is there regular meetings that you hold? What are you doing behind the scenes that we're not aware of?
If anyone's a small business, that's what we do.
Yeah.
It's just not as often. So everyone that owns a business, you run through your finances, you run through your KPIs, and you run through where you're headed and what you're doing, and it's done either on a weekly basis or a bi-weekly basis. We do it on a monthly basis at the moment. So we hold meetings, and at the moment it's getting a little bit, I guess heavy with regards to the input that we have to give. So we're now starting to split up into groups so that we can manage it more. It does look, previously it took a lot of effort to get to where we are right now. But I think moving forward, I think Simon is probably the brainchild behind this. The way I don't have the smarts to do what Simon's doing right now, but he's got a brain mapped out for everything. Yeah, there's a lot to it. We do give a lot of time to it. We believe in what we're doing. We absolutely want to continue, and with the trajectory that we're looking at, there's a lot of arms where we can go. I don't know if you want to come in, Simon, and just maybe embellish on that a little bit.
Yeah, I want to hear more about these arms, and it sounds like you're all working to your strengths, and that's even more testament to the success of a collaborative approach. So.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So it's a challenge, as we'd all know. And there's, I suppose, really one thing we've certainly identified even before the launch, just a couple of months before the launch, there's so many opportunities coming our way, and we need to be deflecting some. And so we do have a sort of a mind map of where we can go and the opportunities presenting to us. I think our real focus at this point is, well, in conjunction with the website's really a tool to welcome in those builders that are signing up as whether it's members or sponsors. We'll probably talk a bit more about that as weeks unfold, Brian. But that tool of the roadmap, as Brian's mentioned, Jeremy Spencer's done his 2.5 decades in the industry is basically all in that, and our intention now is potentially that's going to become a course, and to really ready builders for 7 stars. Because builders, clearly we've had to push back the migration to 7-star standard. Because there's no material out there. I don't know what governments are typical, and industry bodies are typically just so slow to move. So that if a builder was to read and digest and understand that material that's on the website, they will have no issue executing a 7-star home. But we want to make that tangible and likely into a course that we can also then celebrate the builders that are at the top of their game, the builders that we can verify as part of the Sustainable Builders Alliance that have met, the highest standards of sustainability.
Yeah,
we're at the very, very early stages.
Yeah, we're in our infancy at the moment.
I love
as
hearing
much as
that.
People think we're achieving, we are in our infancy. There is so much more to give. We haven't even touched on, construction detailing, passive house. None of that's there on the website yet. There is so much more information to come. And then, as Simon has mentioned, like courses, education is one of the arms that we will do. It's just a matter of time. So, giving courses on whatever the public needs, and that will be a process that we will go through.
Yeah.
There's also consultation. There's conjunction or alignment with TAFE and all this kind of stuff. There's a lot there. It's just which doors open first. That's all, I guess.
That's great. I mean, I was going to ask, what is coming forward? So you've just put that in perspective. This is in its infancy. We're just beginning. We have so much more to go. I mean, how far to the future are you looking at the moment, like for deliverables and things that you're going to be able to provide? You've touched on a course, and I can't speak more highly of what Jeremy has done with that roadmap to zero carbon. I've seen some insights into that he's presented recently. That is a must for everyone listening to definitely keep an eye out for when that. Is it live yet, or is it soon to be?
Nah, it's not
live.
like that.
Yeah. Okay.
No, the website's live, but the course is not.
Yeah,
no, the course isn't.
So everyone,
There's
please
a bit of a
keep an
process
eye on that. I'm sure follow along on the social media platforms and check in when that goes live. But what else is there? Is there anything further? The webinars are going to continue, I imagine. The education. Are you going to be looking at doing any seminars, deliverables like in that way, or is there anything further that you could expand on?
There's a huge amount.
Okay.
It's exactly like Simon said. We're getting so much opportunity presented to us at the moment. Like, it's not possible to put our finger in every pie right now. We just need, take our time, as we've done in the past. We would have liked to release this website 2 years ago, but it wasn't ready. And we just took our time until it was ready. And now it's ready, and now it's good. So as we move forward, I think one of the first things will be the content that we have right now, to get that more mainstream. So I think get the website out so that people are more aware of it. So there'll be a campaign for where we push that out on social media platforms and talking to people like you, Anthony, and making sure that people are aware of the information that's already there. That's the first step. Then after that, it will be the courses, I would imagine. Then it's more population on the website, so getting more detailing on the website, etc. And then from there, it's down to us as a group of individuals where we go from there.
Yeah.
There is a lot, and I can say, oh, we're going to do this and this and this and this and this, but I can't do that because we don't know if we're going to deliver on that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? All I know is that we are definitely going to be pushing hard in the education sector and, information sharing and knowledge. That's kind of where we'll be going first.
Well, one thing
sorry, Simon.
Sorry, Anthony. One thing I can touch on, and we do, we want the cream to rise to the top. The best of the best sustainable builders rise to the top. They're the ones that have signed up, showing commitment. It's whether they're sponsors or members at this point. What we often get customers wanting to know how can we find a builder in our area. So that will be one thing that we can take care of. I
Yeah.
expect we'll take care of in the next few months is a searchable function on the website, so consumers can go there and find a sustainable builder in their area. Because Google, you can't tell from Clay. Forgive my French, but you really you can't tell
Yeah.
what
Yeah.
you're looking at. But we want to make a reference for that. These are builders that are standing proud and doing the right thing and have a track record of.
Thank you for listening to the Outlier podcast. You can find helpful links and contact information regarding this episode in our show notes and on our website, outlierstudio.com.au/podcast. If you like our show, please leave a review and make sure you subscribe to never miss a new episode. If you have further questions for us or would want to share some additional feedback, please feel free to DM us on Instagram or Facebook. Until next time on the Outlier podcast.